I hooked up my old PlayStation 2 over the weekend. Got a lot of dust off it and so forth. Still works. I don't think I've played it for eight years, maybe 7 years, something like that. But it's still plugged in, still worked fine. And everything. Played some games. God, God of War. I think it was God of War. Um, the gray guy in Greece. Is that God of War?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was the first one. And then I also played. I forgot what the other game was. And I played Snoopy, Snoopy and the Red Baron. Sure, nobody's played it, but it's a kind of a fun game. I don't think you can hardly lose. It's one of those type games. It's not challenging enough. They don't have the characters coming at you enough. There's just too much randomness, and it's so easy to get away from them. And there's always root beer. But I suppose that's who it's meant for, is little kids. So we'll let them live forever type of deal. But when I played that, it had loading. Like then to load the scene. We're not doing so extensive a scene here where it's maybe not necessary in the game development, but it had the characters going in a line like that. So I thought that we would see how to do that in track movements in both Unity and Blender. So that's why we did Unity, the kind of track movements. Now we talked a little bit about this before. We're going to talk about it more in depth now. I got a cube here, and I can do a create, and there's a path here. Now, after I create the path, you don't see it because it should be inside the cube. But if you come over here, you see there's a NURBS path here. You can do a G for grab and move to the side over here. And if I zoom in a little bit with my mouse wheel, if I do a tab, then you can see little circles here. And you can right click on those circles and do a G for grab and move them. And this is how you can achieve the path to follow. Now, after I've done that, and you got the path chose, there's a path option over here. So it's a little curve with two dots at the end. If you click that, there's different settings you can set on it. You see there's 3D or 2D. If I choose 2D, then it makes sure that it's flush with the Z-axis. So everything Z is equal to 0. Oftentimes that's what you want to achieve. Now again, when you right click on these, you can grab them. You can do a G for grab. You can also do an E for extrude. And you can keep doing E for extrude. So we get a path created of some sort. So I'll go back out of edit, and you'll see your path created. Now if I select my cube first, so I right click on it, and hold down my shift key, and I right click on the path, then I can join those together. If you do a control P, then you can say follow path. Now, after you've done that, you'll see your cube has a dotted line going out to the start of my path. I swear in earlier versions you could look at the path and you could see the direction it was going.
Didn't we do paths before?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That's...
I don't remember in what sense though.
Yeah,
I think I just briefly showed it, didn't I?
I don't know. Let's see if I have it in my motivations.
Because I remember there was one. Remember where it was like way out when we'd attach it and go out like 10,000 units or something like that. Remember that? But I can't remember. I think it was off of a tutorial. Well, this is the offset that's just by you not having it next to it. Now, if I do a Alt A, it'll follow your path. Okay, so if I do a G, if I right click on the cube, do a G for grab, I can move it closer to the path. And now when I do an Alt A, it actually seemed to follow the path. And you'll notice up here, the NURBS path, underneath that is the cube. So that's how they're attached. Now, this right here, I think is an interesting effect. Notice how my cube is starting right here, and then it's transforming, isn't it? What you can do is, I have this selected, then I choose the path, and if you do Control P, there's a curve to form.
Oh yeah, I think I remember what we did. Like we put it on a path and then we changed to a different shape. Nah, that can't be it.
It was flying through something, and I can't remember what.
Well,
Is we had the camera flying through it. Remember that?
Yeah, but I didn't think
that was a different thing.
Yeah, I
When
didn't
we
think
had the
that-
camera fly through it, that was a different thing.
No, that wasn't following, was it? No.
I know we did something like this where we had a cube just do like a certain path.
Right, because I remember it went clear out, like way out there from the, where it should be.
Oh yeah, I found it. I found the path.
Yeah.
Thing this mine just went through a whole bunch of circles.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that cube there, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. Now, this right here, I'll go ahead and let me go ahead and delete that. Now I'm gonna drop on a circle right here, and I'm gonna do an S for scale and make it big like that. Now if I drop on a cube and I'll hold down my shift key and select the circle. Now circle by itself does not have the same characteristics of a path. And if I try to do a Control P, you see we got some different options here. Now let me instead choose this, And let's see if I can remember how to change that. Shift P. Let's try this. That's bad. We'll have to watch a video. There's a way you can transform this to a path. And okay, let's watch a video. Actually, we'll do the video. What this video demonstrates is how to have your camera follow, so you can kind of watch it. For example, not that I can do a good one without the video, but if I want to have this cube or the camera go along a path, if I click Create Path like this, go into Edit, choose those, and I want to make it flat, so we'll choose 2D. So I think I got some 3D in there. There we go. Okay, so I have my my cube here. I'm going to right-click it in object mode. Right-click this, do a Control P. And I say follow path. Do an Alt A to see where it started. Okay, it starts right there. So I do a G for grab. Let's try that again. The what? Did it flip upside down before?
No, it's just when we were trying to move it, you were trying to put it on the where it ended.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so that it actually shows you. Just my eyes aren't good enough where I can hardly see it. Like if you move it away, see the line there? If you have it in the center of the path, but maybe I want to have the camera involved also. So you can choose the camera, and then you can hold down your Shift key and choose a path, and do your Control P again, and say follow path. And now, if I look what my camera is doing, if I do a View Camera, it's right there. Now if I do an Alt A, see how my camera automatically switches positions? So. And I remember almost everything about what they're showing is, you know, that video, that animation effect where you have like a character standing still and then you have a camera going around in a circle. They got a name for that in movies. Is it panoramic?
I have no idea. Sounds right.
Okay, but that's what we're going to take a look at. And you can transform a mesh into a path, into a curve. Assuming I get the sound on. Unless this one didn't have sound. I don't think it has sound. That's okay. So I just need to know the Okay, so we got our circle there. They've already transformed it into a path. Alt-C. Okay, so we got our cube here. If I do a shift and choose a circle and do an S for scale, you can make your circle bigger like that. Now our character is going to stand still, so we're not going to change that at all. But I want to take my camera, and I'm going to have it follow this circle. In order to do that, you have to switch the circle to a path. What did I say, Alt-C? Alt-C. And you see it says create a curve from a mesh text. Now if I go into edit mode, edit tab, you can actually see the arrows there. So that gives you an idea. And these actually control the speed too. So if I move this like there, then you'll see it go slower and faster in other parts. I'm going to leave it alone because I want them all the same. Now if I choose my camera, go out of the edit, there we go. And if I attach it to this, if I do a shift, actually I want to make sure that's 2D. So I come over here. Set 2D. That's interesting.
You can turn off the fill.
What?
Like where it says under 3D, it says fill. You can turn off the fill.
I don't remember selecting that.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's bizarre. Earlier when I was testing this while you guys were doing another project, it didn't fill. Weird. Okay. Okay, so I got our circle up here. We got that. Now if I have this selected, and if I select that, you have to do that in that order. Then Control P. Then you see there's a follow path. Now if I do a view camera, numpad 0, see this is what we currently see. If you don't like where that's at, you can do a G, move it down. You can do an R for rotate, R, X, R, Z, R, Y. Probably as good as I'm going to get there. Because where I needed that is I need to move down. So if I move it down there, and now let me do a view camera. And do an R, X, R, X, R, Y, do G for grab. Okay, that's probably as good as I'm going to get. Now if you do an Alt-A, you see how it rotated around the object? So that's like those films where you have a camera rotating around an object or a person that's just standing. Benefit of doing this with a camera, with the view camera, is this is what's actually going to be rendered. So we haven't really focused on that very much at this point, but again, if you do the view camera, then whatever you see with all day is what's going to be in your movie. Okay, let me do a file new. I'll delete the cube. I'll drop on a Bezier. No, I'll drop on a. Let me drop on the circle there. Now, if I go into tab, you see how these are already. This is already set up such I can follow it. And we have another down here, text. And I'm going to do an RX. Bring it up like that. Now, if I do in, I was freehand doing it, which is fine for the most part for what we do. But is it exactly upright? What's degree-wise, what is completely upright? 90. Yeah, so if you come over here, if you actually type in numbers here instead of freehanding it, you can get more precision. And how I brought this up is I did in. T is the other one. T brings up the tools, and in brings up specific properties geared toward whatever you're working with. Now, if I go into edit, I can come over here and change it to an L and go out. Let's see if I remember the keystroke here. I did an Alt-C again. And you see there's a mesh from Curve Meta Surf Text. You can change it to a mesh. Now, if I tried to at this point, let's try to get this to follow the curve. I haven't changed it to a mesh yet. I have this selected, and I select that, and now I'm going to do a Control P, and we follow our path. Now, if I do Alt A, you see based upon where it's at, which is exact middle, that it's rotating around the circle, right? Oops. Select this. I'll make that a little bit bigger. You see it going around. Now, you can switch this to a mesh. And have it accomplish the same task. You may find with a mesh you have more options available over here. Let's see, cycles render, use nodes, image texture. Let's see if I can remember all the steps. UV unwrap or UV image. Okay, so I'm in edit mode there. Do you notice that I can't put anything over here, can I? If I try to type A for all, it puts A on there. Now, if I go out of edit mode, if I do my, let's see, what was it, Alt? Let's see. Choose a mesh from Curve Meta Surf Text. And now, let's see, there's object mode. I got this selected. Go into edit mode. If I select everything, See how I now have faces, don't I? Which means I could do my U and unwrap it and so forth. Does that make sense? The difference between a text and a mesh? Just gives you more options. And not that this would look good at all. Oh, that's surprising. I expected with this weird shaping of these, it wouldn't mean very much. But let me see. New open pictures. Pink Panther. And I come over here, choose the face. Like that. Then over here, I want to choose the Pink Panther. And then over here, I want to choose the render or the solid texture. And you see our Pink Panther in kind of a strange way. Remember all those steps? Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to combine all these different pieces we've looked at together. I want you to have a loading animation. So I want you to have it follow a path, like a little curvy one like this. I don't know if I can find an actual video. Maybe I can under YouTube. Red Baron, PlayStation 2, Red Baron versus Snoopy. Loading screen. Maybe this will have the loading screen on it. Probably not. Oh, they are starting from the beginning. I think it's already loaded. I think they cut that out. There's a part in here before that where it's loading, and you see it going like this. I know this is a 3D game, but the loading was actually a 2D animation. Does that make sense what I'm looking for? Okay. Let me let's see, file new, delete this, and drop on a path. And do 2D. Okay, so I got something like that. And then I want to drop a text on here. So create. Might edit. Yeah, I am. Okay, create text. I want to rotate it about. Well, let me just go to in. That's not right. There. Okay, so then I'm going to edit, get rid of those, do an L. And then I want to change that to a mesh. So was that Alt-C? Mesh from there. And now drop on another letter. So do another create, text. Rotate it 90 degrees. Go into edit. This will be L-O. And do a G for grab like that. We need to change it, so I do an Alt-C. Mesh from curve. Okay, so we got meshes on both those, don't we? Now, I'm going to hold down that, and I'm going to click my path. And I'll do a Control P. And I'll say follow path. And right-click that. I select this, and I hold down my Shift key and select that. And then I'm going to do a Control P, follow path. I'm going to right-click the O, do a G for grab, and throw it over like here. Yeah, you get the idea. And see how they go like that? O's in wrong direction. Or the L's in wrong direction, sorry.
So just have
Follow a curved path.
So just have letters follow the curved path.
Right. Now I didn't do it right because I shouldn't have had them rotated like that. I should have had it what? Follow this, shouldn't I have? So probably if I select these, get rid of my 90 degrees. See, that's where I really want them. Yeah, you're right. This one should be, I don't know why I can't visualize this today. Yeah, 180 that way. And where's my O? There's my O. Move that a little further out. Now if you do an Alt-A, see how they're doing it? And that's what that Snoopy game did. Now put a background on it and put texture on this so there's a little bit of color. And then have your camera.
Put the texture on the mesh and then background texture on that.
Right, like background, you could throw a plane on there and throw a texture on it. And yeah, and then have it, you know, in theirs they had this going more. Remember, you can do an E for extrude. What am I doing wrong here? G for grab. There it goes. They had more of a curve on it, like this. So Alt-A. Where did 0 go to? There. I have no clue why can't hardly see. Not that matters for yours because you'll add a texture on there. that make sense? What I'm looking for?
Mhm.
They also had some other things, like they had Snoopy and Woodstock flying around on the dog houses, I think. But that's fine for the loading.